Yes, thank you very much for joining me, Polina, with just a few notes about 2021 and the year of the Golden Ox. If you'd like, have a look at the almanacs. You know, they have everything in them that you'll need. Otherwise, yes, okay. Never mind. There are certain things that are bringing aspects to you. I feel that there is going to be a bringing of things to you. There will be something coming in, people bring components, information, inspiration. Maybe there's people that really want you to participate somewhere. There is something there from another that is like a joining mechanism to help you associate with the greater whole. There are ingredients coming in, and there are also ingredients coming through. And you don't really have to do it yet, but try to understand where they are coming from. So, for example, if you have a certain friend and you really, really, really don't like this person, but they're giving you jobs or they're pointing you in the right direction or they're pointing you in a certain situation, also understand the cause and effect of, for example, having an uncomfortable person or playmate or a bad energy give you something good. So, for example, governmental handouts, if you are anti-government and you're still getting governmental handouts, if you have a partner that you don't really like but you still accept intimacy and experiences together from that particular person, if you are giving yourself a lot through a force that feels very uncomfortable and very stagnant for you or just feels ironic, please understand what that can give. So sometimes, for instance, you can get the most and at the same time lose it all later. So, for example, you can make a lot of money from a certain group of people that you really don't like, and then all that money goes somewhere that you didn't want it to go. Or, for instance, you have had somebody very close to you in your life and they have made a lot of experiences for you, made a lot of things for you, they helped you a lot, and you didn't really like them or trust them that much at all. And then that person fades, but also you might be at rock bottom or at the end of yourself after that relationship fades, even though it was seemingly completely lucrative and harmless for you. Later on, also, you know, you will see how things pan out, but just like try not to accept any ingredients into your life or any people into your world that are dubious, and also anything that is bittersweet or ironic. So it's like you don't like that person, you don't want to participate with anything they're doing, but at the same time you just can't say no. Or you trust them because they're financially more stable than you, or they seem to be a lucrative find. Anything that is a good find that has a aftertaste or after effect, please consider. So, for example, you are taking a certain substance or like a certain drug, and it could be a medical drug as well. And at the same time, it gives you really bad, like really bad feelings, or it might have a very, very bad aftertaste or have a symptom associated with it. So there is nothing there that you can really do here. There's nothing that you can really do. It's just more important that you find greater people, better ways of having unironic connection. So a lot of people are really connected to the story. You know, it's like, oh, I love to hate her. I love and hate her. Or like, we have a love-hate relationship. Or it's like, I really don't like this person, but like they're really powerful and they know many people, or they're a really great buyer, or they're a really good customer. Please understand that all of this bittersweet stuff leads you not to where you want to go. And also, a lot of us are already understanding that if we are not there in the heart, and if we're kind of like squinting and we're kind of shy about things, we don't really know what to say, what to do, it doesn't give us anything in the end. Because by not understanding, not being happy within your whole heart, within your whole mind, whole spectrum, within your whole holy of holies, you know, your whole self, without this you don't really get that much. So please understand that this person is important and this person can potentially give you everything. Does it really sit well to you and with you, and do you feel like you're lying to yourself every time that you're with this person? Please try not to lie, and also try to protect other people from lying. If you've mastered it to a degree, if you're seeing somebody, for example, with the wrong man, or somebody is on the wrong side of the street, or they're not really knowing like what to do, and they're just trying to get peanuts from life, they're trying to get a handout from life, where life will give it with a screech, or will give it with pain. So it's like a bittersweet reality. Please try to pull another person away, apart from that experience as well, if you can help it, because by helping another person walk out of an irony, you will also prevent yourself from walking into more of those. in the future. So you can teach another person how to help themselves also with anything like that. So for example, taking pharmaceuticals that harm your health, if you found out that they harm you, tell another person about it, tell other people, so that you don't see that cause and effect later on. And also, yeah, I suppose deeds, sometimes dirty deeds done dirt cheap, I don't know, dirty deeds, like dirty deeds, like for example, Taurus during this year might have a lot of money or power or pleasure or sophistication, anything come from a very strange place. So that has to be also fine with you or not. So for example, a much bigger person than you might be providing you something, but they're also very in control of you, or they might be very controlling in your life, or they could be something that is done for you or that you're providing as a service, and you might be a voiceless person somewhere but plugged into as a battery and stuff, so you might be a concept for somebody rather than anything else. So you might be an emotional concept or a financial concept or just even a physical outcome. But then you have to also understand, do I really want to be within that particular journey? And do I really have it in me to be honest and take myself out or away from any kind of space and time that suggests that I am not who I am, I'm not whole, I'm just providing a service or providing a deed or making ends meet for somebody else, or doing something good for someone who doesn't actually really want to do anything for themselves. So this is one of those very crazy times when you understand your concept. Buenos dias. So yes, another thing here is that for a lot of Tauruses, lives like this really do matter at the moment. We have to mean something to ourselves, and sometimes this is a very vulgar thing. We want to be, like, for example, that most beautiful, most attractive person, while also knowing that there is a trade and exchange and a kind of weird barter that goes behind the scenes, like once you enter a room or you're at a party or you're dating, in the dating scene, and you know that there is like a weird conclusion made about you, while you also have the joy of feeling or associating to yourself as a very, very cultured or very, very attractive person. So then, also like a lot of us who have jobs and a lot of us who have the courage to be who we are and be unique and provide a service, there are ways in which there is entrapment and imprisonment already happening with a lot of people. And I also trust that a lot of us with Taurian aspects might have a super, super interesting irony or superimposed irony over that which we're doing, simply because it also has a level of commitment that we don't really want. So for example, knowing that you are the best at something also provides you a downfall or crippling. So like, for example, you are the only person that can really do astrology really good, and then you have this crippling of not really having any time for yourself because you're constantly plugged into, as something sometimes happens in my case, so like that is very, very difficult. And then you can kind of see the ironic nature of what you're good at, or however you are appealing to another person. And also I think in the Ox year it's very good to know the strength and have the courage to admit that, so yeah, it's a very interesting year to be appealing. It's a very interesting way to build yourself into an even more beautiful, into an even more pure, into an even more adequate or relevant person with your practice, with your energy, with anything. But then there's also this chance of becoming absolutely debilitatingly uncomfortable in that position. So for example, joining a modeling agency, but then at the same time, although you might get a lot of jobs, you don't really want those jobs, or maybe you feel sick to your stomach with it all. So like there are like lots of very interesting blessings that also have a shadow side, or that also have a contract within them that we might need to see now before the doors will close. And I think that why you do not maybe have to do that much here is because you already got it. Uranus would have accelerated you anyway, being in your sign. I think you kind of already got what it has to be. You already got the X factor. You already got that edge or that energy that pulls people near. But I think now is also the time to see the full blueprint and the fine print for a lot of these types of lives. And yes, the ox year will consider you a lot. I think a lot of people will be put next to you, around you, simply because you are in a way like ox, Taurus ox, like very enjoyable and very delicious and very tasty for us all. And I think also in some way you might not really have enough money, time, hope, or anything like that unless you fulfill that purpose that probably is already waiting for you or is already outlined. There are already sketches. It's like it's already sketched out. There are already blueprints for what you're going to do later on in the year, and the context for your heart, the context of your soul, the way that you show up, the way that you show us the world through your eyes, the way that you talk, the way that you are marveled at, or like what people want to buy from you or be, around you. That's already kind of starting to get etched out. I'm just kind of feeling it's a very, very noisy time at the same time, and you might not get what you want. So it is a very, very important journey, I think, for all of us, humble people with Taurus risings, Taurus moons, whatever, to really start to become open to knowing and seeing the full picture before we get too excited about it, and also before we become imprinted into a universe where we might not want to be. So why we might not want to be in that universe? Because it's got a sense of corruption within it, or there's something not for free. So please understand, if you are within a relationship, formula, situation, job, anything that is a trap already, and it's not for free, because it is going to be very wise to wiggle yourself out of any type of trauma that later happens to ox. And this is one of the primary traumas for Taurus. Primary traumas for Taurus is knowing that you used, or knowing that there is a secret spell over you or a fine print in your contract and you can't work yourself out. So by the end of 2020, you might already have noticed or sensed that there were people beginning to try and corner you or box you in, or there was a power that be that really wanted to sign you, or sign to you, or be on its way to you, or be around you, or be pictured within you, be framed within you. And anything that wished to be permanent, or any person that wished to create any kind of state of permanence or contract with you, had to be seen. And I also trust that many people with Taurus aspects already kind of know that feeling, but they don't really know how to explain it to themselves. And this is basically the third eye functioning. This is basically the energetic center, knowing the primary energetic center, knowing that you are being watched, being used, being traded with, being held for a fool. And being a fool for an ox is one of the worst things in the world, because you guys are such kind and holy people on a level, and in some way being used or being put together into a sequence that is an ironic sequence is a very, very very important thing to know, to see. And also what I'd probably suggest here for you, even before 2021 begins, is to understand your formula and know your way. And also for some people, if they really work themselves into a career, job, or any kind of how can I say, imprisonment, or any kind of reality where you've got to do the thing that other people want, or you've got to be under contract, or you are trapped within a certain system or anything, and if you like it and if you feel like it's worth it, please understand your prices, your time, your self-worth, your status within a certain state of giving, a state of trading, so that you don't end up with much less than you started from. So for example, if you're a great photographer and you have a lot of people trying to get you to photograph them, please understand your worth, your hour, your rate, when you turn up, when you leave. It's all there. It's just kind of like the blueprint is already starting to get tied around you prematurely. So ox is going to get you a lot more of that. So as I said, if you're a really great photographer, you might get really big in ox. But that's the thing, is to structure and strategize. Okay, so getting big, and then you have to also understand what your time is worth, what your money can buy also, what your energy eventually evolves into and what it provides you. So any kind of carts that you're pulling up the hill in ox, anything that you're working on, any kind of talents, any kind of money stuff, any kind of game, any kind of relationships, any kind of futures. Please release all concept of, live and let live, love and let love. We're all people, and that person's not gonna rip me off. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be, try to make it okay that maybe, some of us need lawyers, some of us need a backup plan, and also a lot of us need to understand, what does this commit to us. Commitment is already seen for you. And also all of that story, that you have come to be like, I've like never wanted to be this, and suddenly I'm this, or wow, I've never thought I would finally gain this status, or I finally would have so many clients, or like this big name. All of this stuff, like, wow, look at this, I got this big house, or wow, I got this good looking person. Everything that you're going through, all of this kind of like wow's the feelings. Trying to take everything with a pinch of salt. See the big contract, see the list of things that you now will have to commit to. Understand that there's also a shadow to everything that's bright, and that we've got to know what you think about it and what you feel. So no matter what, if you're with a partner, if you're in the perfect place in the world, if you're doing your own thing, if you're starting to become a very greatly understood person or practitioner or professional, just understand these are not the whole picture. These are like fine lines, and sometimes it takes you or maybe another person like a lawyer or a therapist to help you define them, and also to help you get yourself through, and without any losses. And also, if you're already sensing a contract terminating or coming to an end, and that could be very, very golden for you during the first month of Jan. If you are already seeing, okay, this contract is coming to an end, I'm no longer doing this, I'm no longer doing that, I'm not doing this, everything like that is going to come to a closure. But because it is a little bit hard to be you, it's difficult to be you right now, it is very good to have a certainty helping you out. So sometimes a mother, like a parent, can be very good. Sometimes a therapist, sometimes, as I already said, a lawyer, maybe some kind of a doctor, somebody trusted, like a trusted person in your universe that can hold you together while you might be going through an amazing feat. But at the same time also, there might be a shadow within that which you now have to know and understand. And also all of that which is light and shadow has to be fully now reconciled with and understood before the year begins. So just a few reminders. By May, May holds a very strong edge for me here. By May, you have to really redesign, especially if you're understanding now, wow, I have really gotten myself into a pickle, or I have a few contracts, or there are a lot of people relying on me, or anything like that. Anything that you have been put into that has given you like power and esteem and grace already, and like you're starting to see yourself evolve. Please understand also that there is another side, and that you've got to always be yourself no matter what. Can you be comfortable in the situation? Is this relationship really that good to you? And also, are these people as friendly as they seem? Everything has to be at this time exact and positive, possible. And it can't just be all around the world, all around this. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, give me the job, I'll do it. You have to basically wait it out if you are also an extreme altruist, and state yourself clean. So when May turns, you might get an edge. So this is the big energy when somebody pulls the rope, and you might have been roped in for a long time, but you don't know till the rope tightens. So, for example, you had no idea that your significant other was very controlling until May, and their teeth come out, and suddenly, the rope is really tight around your neck, or you feel very tired, or you cannot contain yourself within that relationship or partnership, but you have too much together. So you could have a home together, you could have this together, that together, all of this kind of stuff. You have to kind of see a few steps ahead of certain people, certain situations and circumstances, and see, can this turn, and especially as you are like the ox in the way, it's very difficult to see sometimes what you wanted, and it's super easy now to see what we want. So you might see the global demand, how your story fits with the other stories. You might be very, very easy on the eye. Other people want you in their game. Other people want your art, your performance, anything you've got. It's just important that you now recognizing the soul value that you hold. And one of the reasons why you are is just to be free in the end. I know, like, otherwise, like, how are you going to be? And I can tell that a lot of oxes are quite happy with that contract. It's like, yeah, well, I'm dating a much older man and he really enjoys me, but at the same time, like, I know that I'm not really, feeling like I'm anything to this person. But at the same time, like, we're good friends, like all of these little contracts that people have, and they can sort of tell a mile away what's going to happen, but we sometimes are too afraid to say it to ourselves. So sometimes you need a discerning heart to get you through. So by May, please understand that there could be a tightening of the rope. There could be a like a stick in your tracks, like a boulder in your tracks. So there could be a very unusual story that is right about to happen when you really cannot afford it or don't want it to. So very, very strong testing of time by May. June, July, August, you don't really have to do a lot. Just wait it out. So here, like, sometimes people really do truly have a summer, and they just basically stretch their life however it will go. And sometimes after a conflict or after a contradiction, it's very easy to just like go to the shops, buy yourself those beautiful clothes, like go out partying, go out dancing. So yes, I'm seeing that for a lot of Tauruses, the mainstream energy is kind of like success and trying to stretch it out, stretching out your life. So, like going there, going here, doing a little bit more than you've done before, testing your strength, wanting to do more with your body, more with your time. But the ending of it also is very weird to me. Like by August, there might be another surfacing of teeth or another trap or another tie. And that has to be seen already. So like, okay, what? Like I just went shopping. I just spent all this money on fun things and I had a really good job. And it could be like a very, very weird way that things manifest. For example, you had a breakup, then you just had all this fun, and by August you understand that your credit card is actually in minus, and something happened, and your previous employer wasn't true. So like, for example, you suddenly understand you got to get on the road, or you got to do many things, so you got to catch up to financial situations. So it's very, very important, no matter how summer comes for you, no matter how June, July, August are with you, no matter, you have got to be very, very easy for yourself and know what you want, and also realize that by August you have to have a certain type of lay-back energy also, and not stress yourself out if you suddenly have to catch up. So here you might have to suddenly catch up on some paperwork, suddenly give yourself all of this abundance, but at the same time also respect needs to be regained, especially if you like spent a lot of money, or you had too many friends over, you went on a bender or anything like that. But the summer is perfect, it's great. Even if you do a lot of crazy things, even if you slept with a stranger, got out of town, like spend the night in a subway station, even if you had a very, very unique, weird tumble in June especially, it doesn't really matter, because sometimes you gotta live. You gotta live and you gotta experience stuff. So yeah, by the end of August, it might all be the same as it was, or it might have new components, but you'll start to come down, and by September's edge, I feel you'll have it. So this interesting whirlwind of energy, securities and insecurities, I think by September's end is going to give you a much better hope or worldview or view of yourself. And honestly, I don't really think we need to do that much more, but some Tauruses will want to esteem and package themselves into an even greater and happier wavelength, which is absolutely fine. I'm just thinking that, as with the right year as well, sometimes divination or shifts have to stop. I actually would trust that by August, just celebrate what you've done, okay? And simplify your formula. And then by November, you might want to change it a little bit, change slightly what you had, or shift it around, but try not to escape from yourself by wanting to do even more and more interesting and established things. Let it go, basically, And also, why we all need to be careful during this time is because Ox makes a box. Ox makes a box, and by the end of the year it might be very hard to let go, or the contract might get very thick, or life might just get thicker, or it might get very, very strong in flavor. So it's I think more positive to let the summer be like the culmination or the climax of what you've got, and then allow things to be mellow, velvety, silky, and not so restrained and not so controlling by the end of the year. Thank you very much, Taurus. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.